Is this the best pellet smoker built in Europe? Let's find out.
A big thanks to Montvel for sponsoring this episode.
If you don't know about this barbecue yet, that is not strange in itself at all. Because the Montvel brand only started 2 years ago. And the reason that they built this was because they weren't happy with the quality of the current available pellet barbecues. I'm not talking about the entry-level pellet barbecues, I'm talking about high-end, top-notch barbecues. And now that's what I call setting a tall order. I'm going to show you all the details of the Montvel barbecue, and then you let me know if you think this is the best pellet smoker built in Europe. First, let's talk about build quality. This thing is made out of stainless steel, aluminum, and all heavy-duty materials that you can think of. It weighs a whopping 150 kilograms. And still you can lift the lid with one hand. That's because they came up with a clever way to build the hinges, so that despite all of the weight and insulation, you can still open it easily. And then you can actually see the thickness of the walls. With gaskets to trap the smoke inside the barbecue, only letting it out at the exhausts. Even the grill grates are made out of stainless steel and coated with emaille, which by the way is a French specialty. You can even put these in the dishwasher. The barbecue is not just a pellet smoker, it's more of a hybrid grill. You can load it up with pellets on the side, but you can also use the electric plancha that sits inside the barbecue. And if you feel that that is not enough, you can still put in another grill grate and another one to enlarge your cooking surface. The Montvel also has plenty of storage and behind the barbecue. Of course, you have easy access to your grease tray and your ash tray. You can set the temperature, you can set a timer. It has 2 probes inserts, and you also have the controls for the plancha. And it all operates very intuitive. I've got it connected to the main power, and now I'm going to turn on the switch. And this of course is the main safety switch. And now I can control it with the knobs in the front, or I can connect it with the Wi-Fi and just set it to pilot mode. Then I open up the app and I can control the whole barbecue from my couch. Luckily it also functions fine without it. So I set it to thin blue smoke, which led me to believe that the person who came up with the concept knows what he's talking about. Now I'm going to set the temperature to 110 degrees Celsius, perfect for smoking. In Europe, pellets are not the most common form of fuel for your barbecue, and that's why Montvel lets you order them directly in their app, so that they can be shipped to your home in no time. To put this barbecue to the test, I selected a beautiful chuck steak. And that's a perfect piece of meat to test a barbecue on the low and slow setting and in the grilling function on the plancha. I'm going to season it with a little bit of PITMASTERX Texas barbecue seasoning. Of course, I'm going to coat the sides as well, just to make sure that we got a beautiful layer on it. There we go. And this is now ready to go on the barbecue. The Montvel is slowly working its way up to the temperature of 110 degrees Celsius. That's perfect for low and slow. I'm going to stick a thermometer into the core of the chuck steak. Put the chuck steak on the Montvel, close the lid, connect the probe, and set the max temperature to 98 degrees Celsius. And that directly is one of my favorite functions. You see, if you rotate the knob, it almost senses that you want to skip over all the numbers and go straight to the right number. It's like it magically knows what you're looking for, and it's strange to explain. Now I've got some waiting to do, so I'm going to open my app, and there I can see I'm currently running at 21 degrees Celsius, set to 110. The core of my chuck is 5 degrees and I set it to 98. And now all I have to do is chill out and relax. Wait for it to be done. It has been about 3 hours and we're closing in the 90 degrees Celsius core temperature. I just wanted to show you guys what that looks like, because we've got a beautiful smoke ring with a mahogany red color, and it looks so delicious already. It's not done yet, but it's time for the next phase of the cook. Therefore I'm going to take it off the grill and put it in an aluminum tray. I'm going to add about 100 grams of butter, a twig of rosemary, and 4 cloves. But don't add too much of those cloves, they're pretty powerful in flavor. I'm going to seal it off with some aluminum foil. I'm going to leave the thermometer inside while the chuck steak is cooking. I still have a little while before the chuck steak is done, and then I want to cook the rest of the ingredients. But I'll be using the plancha for that, and therefore I will turn it up to maximum heat. And now the plancha has enough time to get up to temperature. In the meantime, I'll be chopping onions, lots of them. I'm just going to cut them in half and then into slices. Once I got my onions chopped up, I'm going to grill them, and I'm going to do that in the grease of these bacon strips. So these go onto the plancha, and I'm going to fry them until they release all of that grease. And once they start to get light brown, it's time to add the onions. Don't worry thinking that is too much onions, because it's going to cook down and then they're going to shrink up a lot. You're going to lose so much moisture. I'm going to close the lid and give it about 10 minutes or so. The chuck steak's almost done. I'm going to move it to a high position so it can finish off there slowly while I keep grilling my onions and bacon. The onions are caramelized. Now it's time for a little splash of merlot. And that's going to help me get those little tasty bitties that otherwise stick to the plancha into the beef pan. That goes in with the beef. Just put it on top. I just got the notification from the Montvel telling me that we reached a core temperature of 98 degrees Celsius. So it's time to take the beef off. All I need to do now is just let it cool down. And I will be using that residual heat of the beef to melt the cheese. All right, let's check it out. Cheese should be warm by now. Let's put that aside. First thing that I want to see is the beef. Let's carefully pick this up. It's already falling apart. Still a bit hot. Look at that. Beautiful beef. Got a nice smoke ring, top and bottom. And the beef is just soft like butter. And this is the main thing that I'm going to judge this barbecue on. The hardest part of creating a barbecue like this is getting it to smoke meat properly. But it definitely did. Let's see how it tastes. Whoa, that is good. Woo-hoo. Now let's turn this into a sandwich. Mind you, this is about a kilogram of beef and about a kilogram of onion and bacon. In the meantime, the cheese turns soft, and if I did it right, I can just pop this open and just start at the top. Just let the cheese ooze out. Gotta love a good beef cheese sandwich. Let's put the cap on. Now that looks like a tasty sandwich to me. And the video is totally not about the sandwich, even though I'm going to enjoy it a lot. But it's about the tool that we created it with. Is the Montvel barbecue one of the best pellet smoker ever built in Europe? One thing that I can say is that this is the best pellet smoker built in Europe that I've ever tested. But tell me, what do you think? Cheers. Whoa.